Hey there all, hope you're doing well today. So, before we head over to the other desert and work on that area near the pyramid or temple, uh, just wanted to show off a little thing I've been working on in between. So, this is the currently working iron farm right here, but as I've stated before, it is quite slow. So, I figured, why not we just make 3 more, because they're so easy to build. And I really want to make sure I can get iron a bit quicker because I've been AFK for a few days. I've been working on some other stuff and I desperately needed iron, so I just let it run while I worked on some other things. Now, on top of that, later on, I'm going to do a mob farm. I think that would be a smart idea to not only have the iron, but to have mob drops available here. So we'll see how that goes. But main thing is just to get iron faster. So that is something that is now, well, not yet checked off. I need to finish up the iron farms. I need to build up the second layer to them and get the villagers into them, which shouldn't be a problem in theory. I already have this all the way built over here, so I just have to extend that over to each one to get the villagers into their correct pods, which is going to be frustrating in itself, but I think I've made it a little bit easier on myself. Because over here, as you will see, we have the villagers all crowded into here. I have a water source right there pushing them, and with that, it goes into here. Insta-mine glass. Huh. Yeah, it's too bad that doesn't stick around. So it goes into here. The water should bring them all the way here, and they'll be pushed into here, which then they'll go up the water tower, and they will make their way over up there and across. I just have to reconnect that because originally I was going to take it down, but then I figured, wait a minute. Let's not do that just yet. So, either way, that's an in-between videos project, and I'll update you as I go. When I get a little closer to finishing them all, I'll definitely show it off. But let us head to the other desert, and we can work on the little market area / little mini village thing there. Let's go. And this was one reason why I needed the iron. I needed to finish up this part of the nether tunnel. And this is why I'm looking at expanding the iron farm. Alright, here we are. Now, this isn't going to be anything super fancy. I figure I can extend on this a little bit in the next update or two. But I definitely want to get it built. Alright, so the challenge is to build a desert-themed villager outpost. So a few buildings and should be good to go, make it look semi-lived in, I guess. So the question is where to put it. Now, I'm kind of thinking back this way. I will say for a desert, there's a lot of water holes. I'm guessing it's the old generation. Maybe right up here. Yeah, I'm thinking this little plateau. Yeah, I think it's plateau. This flat area up here would be a good area. Now, I'm really going to try and keep it pretty just straight desert themed. Alright. I think right up here, we'll put something. Put down crafting. Alrighty. So the idea is to put something right in this section. Now I'm thinking we'll put a building here. One there. I'm thinking a smaller one over here. Alright, so the idea here is a fairly sparse village, because you're in a desert. And I figure that it's not going to be as widely populated as some of the others. Now what we can do, though, the only thing is blocks. I'm not sure if I want to stretch my wings and grab like an oak tree and get some of those, or anything like that, or strictly stick to more desert, lighter tones kind of a deal. I feel like that's more in line with the desert. But maybe I'm wrong. But also, since I barely use birch, I figure it's not a bad idea to stretch my wings and work on using more of birch. The only thing I would really want to stick to as far as quote-unquote realism is to have, like, foundation-esque of more stone, so that's why I'm doing this. So while I meander through this, I want to talk about a little idea for the future. Now, I've talked about wanting to build a big redstone game at some point in the future, which I'll definitely get to when, you know, I get to the update that really lets me get into that and I feel I can do it somewhat justice, and I can dive into all that. But there is another project that I've worked on in the past that, well, I haven't touched in a very long time due to the fact of doing this world, and switching between newer and older versions has a tendency to mess up versions, or has a tendency to mess up saves. So, I have a playlist on my channel where I talk about building the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender in Minecraft, and I do it in survival. Now, the odds of me finishing that project are slim to none, but I still enjoy the challenge and actually, working on it. So, my only problem is that I don't want to switch between worlds a whole lot. I'd like to try to keep everything in one world. And I'm thinking of essentially combining them. So in that world, what I did is I went 80,000 blocks in the overworld and like 10,000 blocks in the nether, I think. And to a completely new area to where there's no chance that I'm, going to be touching it. This world will be a little different for the simple fact of how far I've had to explore already. And so the distance may have to be changed, but I think I want to do a similar thing and actually build Avatar in a very distant spot of the world. Maybe have a few builds close by because I just really like some of them. And a few ideas of how to do X, Y, and Z. But I think I want to try and do that when the time comes to, actually build that world here. So yeah, I'm thinking about it, mulling it over. I think it would be a fun project to have in the world to go to every handful of episodes to muck about with, show you what I've been working on and everything like that. Because Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my favorite shows. It was one of my favorite shows growing up, and I still really enjoy it to this day. So I'd like to dive more into the world and check out more of it. Have more of a reason to do a deep dive into it, So that's my thinking. I think it'll probably come to fruition, but at this point it's 50-50. Either way, I think it'd be kind of fun to have the kind of absurd large builds that I have there, along with the mostly more reasonable size builds that I would have in the regular Let's Play. But let's see how we're coming about. So like I said, I don't want a whole bunch of... This isn't going to be anything fancy by any stretch of the imagination. But I think this would do. We're not going for anything fantastical. We want to have some semblance of a path. Now, if I had stripped birch, that would be even more amazing. But that doesn't come out for many moons. So next, I think that there is... Yes. There is the lovely different slabs. Yeah, stairs are still problem. Chairs... Wow. I cannot talk. Stairs are still problematic. Holy crap, was that so hard to say? Okay. So, yeah, I think this works. Small little village. Very, very small. Now, 1.4 is going to be pretty heavy on a number of things I want to build. But at the same time, I really just want to get to 1.5. So I'm kind of torn. Because there's a lot of ideas I have for 1.4 and just the few things I want to build. But hoppers would make all that so much easier. So in this case, we're going to go fairly straightforward. Now, I haven't done a really like... Okay. Upside down stair? Upside down stair! It's really the little things. I think I want it out one more though. I think I want it out here or down here. Let's try right there. Ooh, so pretty. That's how we do it. Oh, I actually really like that from even a distance. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm going to finagle with this a bit more, and then I will bring you back when I have a little more to show. Alright. So I kept it pretty simple. Just some fairly basic buildings next to each other. I put my bed in this one. I don't really know what I want to put for decorations inside. Probably a crafting table in a couple of them. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that I can really think of. Throw a chest down there. We'll put a double chest over here. And also we got some glass. Oh, right. So I think with finishing up this, I can count that as the challenge complete. And in 1.4, 1.5, I'll probably come here and add a couple extra things to this little area. But I didn't want anything too spectacularly mega or anything like that. Might put a fence around the area or whatever. But I at least built a village-esque deal in the desert. I would love to use smooth sandstone, but that is not in the game yet. And I want to try and keep it as desert blocky as I can. But that is one thing crossed off the list. Now we can go to 1.4, which I have been very antsy to do, because I would like to have a little easier food source than the animals. And I've noticed that they still tend to glitch through fences for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but, well, I'm not going to really stress about it too much when I will have potatoes. Now the big thing I want to try and find is a witch hut. Because, well, witches, I've talked about before, witches should give the spider eyes. And also, I really hope that 1.4 brings in where I can put trapdoors on the roof here, because I want to put carved pumpkins as the light source above. I could put glowstone, but currently glowstone is technically expensive with having to go and find it and everything like that. Carved pumpkins, I can get a bajillion of those pretty easily, so. Yeah, I think we're going to update to 1.4 and try to locate us a witch farm, which I'm probably going to regret because, well, I still have to finish the nether tunnel going in that direction and trying to find a witch hut it's not going to be close by, sadly. So I'm going to knock out these bars here, and then we are going to get our happy butts into 1.4 and start the trek to hopefully find a witch hut. So I will see you in 1.4. And just as a confirmation that I still am in 1.3, it's right there. So I did honestly consider updating to 1.4 and then finishing that and then saying that we were going to go to 1.4, but I wanted to finish it before we updated. So yeah. All right. Now we're going to hop into 1.4 and start the fun. I think I might try and use a program to see where I've gone the least in the overworld to hopefully save myself a little frustration and maybe get lucky and find one a bit closer. But yeah. Oh, here's what we can do. We can work on extending the farm. That's what we can do. So yeah, I want to extend this by probably 2 more farms. One for potatoes for sure, but mostly wheat. And yeah, so either way, let's hop into 1.4 and we can have some fun. Alright, we are officially in 1.4.7. Now the big thing is, well, there's a number of big things. One is witches and wither skeletons. Those are in the game now. And on top of that, we have potatoes. Now, one reason that I really was looking forward to potatoes is the simple fact of animals. They're a bit of an annoyance right now. I could make like a bigger farm to get everything, but potatoes are just easier. I can get a bunch of bone meal and just go ham, especially when I'm trying to farm blazes or something. I can grab a whole bunch of potatoes and call it a day, and then just cook them while I'm farming the blazes. It's going to be great. And on top of that, with the witches, we can finally have a much easier way to get spider eyes, which is going to be super nice because potions. I've been wanting to get into brewing for a while, and now we can finally do that. However, originally I was thinking of expanding the farm, but I think what we're going to do is try to find a witch hut. So I loaded up a program and I was able to actually look into my world and basically get a top-down view of it. And I know that going this way is my least explored area for a little while. Now, we shall see how this goes. I think I might go in the nether and just go an X amount of blocks and do that, just to make it a little easier for myself. But at the same time, I feel like there's a high chance of it not working out that way for me. We'll just go to the overworld. Make it a good trek through the ages. I still need to finish this path. I think I want to put just regular dirt. Okay, yeah, path blocks aren't a thing yet. Might try something else, I don't exactly know. I would love it if we got lucky and there was just one chillin' nearby, like with the temple that we have, or the other village, which was also incredibly lucky. But that has rarely been the case. That's cool generation right there. Almost looks like a whale. Add some fins onto that and you just got a giant whale in the sky. I don't know if anyone has watched Futurama, but there's an episode where there's a white whale in space. I can't remember the full episode, but Leela's trying to kill it and she gets obsessed with it and it's her obsession. And that's kind of my first thought. That'd be kind of fun to do. However, I need clay desperately. I don't think at this point there's a way to get it in an easy way. As far as I'm aware, there's not. There might be, but I think it would have to be a villager trade. And I can actually see the direction I'm going. That's a nice little quality of life update there. Before it wouldn't show you northeast or anything like that, it would just show you the coordinates. I guess we'll just use this. I don't remember what update boats actually get updated, but I know that I'm already looking forward to that update. I will absolutely have to stop and get every bit of clay I can get. I'm going to decimate this world for this the clay. I won't stop for every single piece of clay, but otherwise I'll never actually find the hut because I'll just be digging through the earth too much. But let's cross our fingers and hope that we find a swamp with a witch hut in it. Oh, please. And also, I think I want to do a bit of wither skeleton farming. It would be basically just mob proofing the absolute crap out of the nether to make sure all the spawns are focused on the nether fortress, which is going to be interesting. In future updates, when I'm able to use a mod, I'm totally forgetting mini HUD. It has a despawn sphere and everything like that, so I could easily see exactly where I'm supposed to put everything. Now, without that, because I think it actually has its first version in like 1.7 or something like that. It's a little later. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I want to say the wither is in the game at this point. What's going to be really funny is in the future when bricks and everything like that become viable from the villagers, and it's going to be life-changing for me. It's going to be absolutely life-changing. So in the next episode, what I think we'll do is work on a witch farm. And in between episodes, I'll probably expand the farm a bit, just like I was talking about before with adding a farm next to the 2 wheat farms that we have there. Don't really think it needs to be an episode itself, since I've already done that before, and it's going to be the same design, just having the pistons blocking the water and a simple lever pulling them down, so, or I guess in this case, pulling them up. Alright, we have another desert that we can absolutely destroy later on, and when I can use TNT more consistently. I think there's the other village that we have. I'm like 80% certain. If it's not, then that's actually really cool that we found another village, but I'm pretty sure this is one that I found previously. Yeah. The evidence that I was here. Yep, right there, okay. That's what I thought. And you can see that I've already decimated this swamp to get the clay. Just a pig hanging out in a tree. So I know this is all very well explored. So the sooner that we can get a witch farm going, the sooner we can actually get into brewing, which is something that I've been very curious about, because I really want to try to figure out the auto brewing and everything like that. So that's going to be the next big redstone project. And then I still want to work on the door to make it so I don't have to hit a button to go through it. So I'm pretty sure at this point I can. It's just more redstone than it would be before, which is fine with me. What's this over here? Is that? No, okay. I didn't think it was, because I'm pretty sure I loaded all of this before. I went through a good majority of this area grabbing clay. So I just don't remember exactly how far I went or what I did. It would be amazing if the witch hut was here. But I think I will bring you back when I actually find a witch hut, which I'm hoping will not be the 30,000 blocks or whatever that I traveled for the desert temple and jungle temple. I'm hoping, but with my luck, it's possible. Alright, I will bring you back when we actually find one. Okay, so I haven't found a witch hut, but I found like a 5 tall cactus randomly. That's a thing? I'm not touching it, but... yeah, I screenshotted that. That needs to be preserved. That is awesome. Okay. I found another desert that I'll be able to use for some mining in the future, but no hut. I have also been getting a bunch of clay, which is just fantastic. But I am realizing that I'll need to come back through here and get every little bit of clay, because I'm trying to speedrun this to an extent. Not doing a good job of it, but I am trying to go a little faster. I was also partially hoping that I could find another temple, because I'm greedy. And also seeing the generation just makes me kind of happy. Because in newer generations, you won't see a cold biome like that next to a freaking desert. And then jungle right next to a desert. Yeah, I'll definitely need to come back through here and see if I can get every bit of clay. Because I keep seeing stuff, but I really just want to hope I get lucky and see a witch hut just screaming at me to come and grab it and claim it. So far, no dice, though. If I could find a second temple, that would also just be cool. I guess in this case, a third. It'd be a third desert temple and a second jungle temple. Alright, well, let's head back more this way, since this is more the actual path. I found a pretty big swamp, but I didn't find a single witch hut, so... mildly annoying, but that is what it is. And I am very happy that I did this challenge and this way of doing with the world is the simple fact of I'm really going to appreciate so many things that come in later versions. With those things being just commonplace in newer versions. And I feel like it's really easy just to take for advantage. That's not how you say those words together, either way. That's not how you, either way. I know what I'm trying to say, but the words aren't really working for me. Take for granted all of those nice improvements that have come in later updates. Because for me, like, when I'm able just to buy bricks and get, 73 stacks in 3 minutes, compared to scouring the entire world to hopefully find all the clay that I need to do to do what I need to do. And then flying is just going to be a frickin' gift whenever that comes around. I think rockets propel elytras in 1.12, but the elytra comes out, I think, in 1.9, if I remember correctly. It's something like that. You can do propulsion on yourself by using basically a bow and arrow with some enchantments specifically, but you also run the risk of dying because you are literally shooting yourself. So I think we're running the fun risk of having to go like 10,000 blocks away for a single witch hut is what I'm kind of feeling. Now, I'm using a program that's able to examine my world from a top view, and it'd be a lot easier if I could just fly diagonally to figure it out, but going in a specific cardinal direction is just easier in terms of currently how to track my stuff. So for all I know, if I just went to a slightly more diagonal angle, I'd be able to get to a witch hut right away, but going in straight northeast, southwest is a lot easier for me, so. Well, I guess I would say easier to track. Alright, well, back to the grind, and I will bring you back when hopefully we find the witch hut, but I had to show you that cactus, because I've never seen anything like it, so maybe I blew someone's mind. I know I blew my own, so that's great. Still no witch hut, but we found another temple. That's kind of cool, and it's like... it's on the offset of the jungle going into the desert. I already rated it real quick, it's just, it had some iron. But nothing too crazy. Well, I didn't check the secret area. Well, I think we're just gonna have to cheese this one and just break in. Because, okay, nothing too crazy. Okay. So now the trek for the witch hut still continues. Now, I'm not sure if this would work, but in the future I already planned on trimming chunks regardless, especially when we get to much later versions with, you know, complete overhauls of terrain, and when you get a lot of biomes, like with I think it's 1.7 has like the update that changed the world. And ooh, a swamp. We might get lucky. Probably not, but you know, whatever. I'm not sure if deleting chunks now possibly might change. Well, it would have to be chunks that I already explored before I updated to 1.4, because all this would be new terrain. So, I'm not sure. There's just a lot in the... So I've talked about this before, but in the older updates, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of water. And we're talking thousands of blocks of just ocean. Which, I mean, is fairly true to real life. You go the right way in the ocean, and you're going for miles and miles, kilometers and kilometers. And so that's cool. However, as far as I know, in later updates, they changed it to where it's less massive ocean and you have more islands and land spattered about. And I'm not sure if deleting the ocean chunks, like for example, when we get the ocean monuments and, you know, more biomes added, if deleting those, well, they should. They should. Either way, I'm just trying to find this. I'm hoping that I can find a one that's closer to the base, but regardless, I'm going to just keep going this way until I find one. And then in the future, I'll just do a kind of rudimentary look around closer to the base and see if I can get lucky. And then, as I said, I'm still going to delete chunks later on, because I know that when they add in Badlands and a lot of other biomes, I'll end up deleting chunks of the, like I say, the massive oceans. So hopefully I'll get lucky with an hopefully I'll get lucky with a spawn of maybe more witch huts there. I'm not sure, but either way, it's a grind to say the least, just to try and find it. I will say some of these generations are really cool. And there's so much clay, but I can't take it because my inventory is bursting. Well, that's not true. Let's take a little bit. This episode's going to be way longer than I thought it would be. So if you have stuck this far, then I greatly appreciate it. But I'm very determined to find this frickin' witch hut. So, alright. Next update, when I bring you back, will be either for the witch hut or something redonkulous happened. Or I find something very strange, like the 5'6" tall cactus, which still blew my mind. So, I'm gonna keep on going and just cross my fingers that hopefully one magically appears in front of me right as I turn around. It's not going to happen, but one can hope. Oh, sweet, sweet victory. Finally, finally, we have a freaking witch hut. 17,500 blocks away. It's, oh my gosh. It's, I'm excited that I finally found one, but holy Toledo, Batman. Like, oh. Alright. This is gonna suck so much to do a path all the way to this bloody area. Oh, okay. Let's back it up though, because this is gonna be interesting. So from the little bit that I understand about witch huts, they have, I looked on the wiki and it's like a 6x6 or 6x7 area that they spawn, and it's within the area of the witch hut, and I think it's like 1 block from the bottom. So like right down there up to 1 block above and out to the porch and at the end of the roof here, I believe is the box. But yeah, I'm going to need to either flood the entire area, tear up the grass, do something to be sure that only the witches will spawn so it'll be more effective. But oh, I actually wonder, is the 3-wide portal a thing yet? Because I always prefer to have a 3-wide portal. I don't think it is. Not yet, at least. Oh, it is not. Okay. Oh, and I found a few cool things, but I didn't really feel like they were worth cutting back in. I found a jungle temple that led into a small cave. So the entire outside of the temple was fine. But then when you go inside, it actually breaks into a small cave, but none of the treasure was messed up. So it's pretty cool. And then I also found another mushroom island. So I have another one of those in my back pocket. So now I'm just going to have the issue of what I had before, where I have to make the path out to this area, which oh, it's going to be a while. All right, so 2,000. Actually not as bad as I thought it'd be. I took many screenshots. Okay, it's only 1,000, just under 1,000 blocks. So right here, yeah, and 72, so we need to go down. All right, we follow this directly straight, and we should run straight into my already developed path. Oh my gosh, this was brutal. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh, this was brutal. Okay, so while I make my path back to the base, that is going to do it for today. But thank you for tuning in and checking it out. And I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a lot of this, mostly. But I do greatly appreciate you sticking through it. And let me know what you think of the Avatar The Last Airbender world, if I should combine it with this one or just keep them separate and do that. And by combine, I mean I would just start building those builds and doing that idea in this world. So I'd go X amount of blocks in a certain direction and just start reshaping the world. Basically, I have a map in real life that I bought that shows the Avatar world, and what I want to do is recreate that in Minecraft to the best of my abilities. Certain things won't really work as well, but yeah. Either way, let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. Alright, I will see you in the next one where we work on either the witch farm or a farm in general, because there's so many things I want to do in this update. Oh, alright. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for checking it out, and please do take care of yourself. See you next time.